So I had been jumping on calls with many of my friends who run small businesses lately, and many of them have told me that they've struggled to knowing where to start using AI inside their business. They use AI for chat, or sometimes they've already been playing with Claude and things, but many of them didn't understand exactly the extent in which they could make their lives easier or make their businesses easier. Oftentimes people are talking about all these complex automations, set up a Mac Mini and do all this sort of stuff. And for many, that's way too advanced, and they might not have the time to go and dive in and do all these sort of things. And so, I'm jumping a few of these calls. I've been working with AI for a couple of years now. Was building a company in blockchain, working with developers, and then sort of that evolved. It started with chats, and then it became sort of building software, working with software, but also how to implement it within my own business and the own things that I was doing. And I've accrued quite a lot of knowledge and experience in working with the tools, what works, what doesn't. I've made all the mistakes as well, overbuilding, building things that are useless, trying to build systems that were too complex. And I wanted to make a bit of a video series to dive into what would I do from day zero? Like if I had been using ChatGPT or Claude just for chat conversations, and I wanted to start diving into, okay, where can I use this? What can I actually automate? Like, how do I start doing the 0 to 1 work? Where would I start? And so I dived in pretty deep and started to distill some of the knowledge I had, because for me, I'd built up all this experience working with Claude and automations and brains and files and everything, and it sort of became second nature. But when I was trying to talk to people and explain it, I didn't realize that actually I might have known more than I thought I did, and I just needed to figure out how to distill it. So this video is just an intro video of what we're going to cover, but I'm going to be putting out some videos where we're pretty much going to make a bit of a fake business, and we are going to set up step by step multiple things that you can actually implement. So AI for small business. So it's not a course, it's just a couple of steps. So everyone keeps talking about the power of AI, but you're still stuck using it like a chatbot. People are talking about AI agents, and there's all this stuff, and it's constantly coming out. It's a lot of noise, and that might not be what you really need. Everybody's an automation expert. Everyone's building their own apps. You might have started or you're building things, but maybe it's not as efficient as you think it is, because you go out and build your own app, you're building 5 different things at once, but you're still doing paperwork, and there's still a lot of things which could be automated that aren't. Maybe it's just focusing on the wrong areas. What I see usually going wrong. So here's a couple of things. So some people don't know where to start, so they're still doing things manually. They want to get into it, but it's too overwhelming. There's literally too much stuff going on. You think that to get and use AI for your business, it could be you're a founder or you've got a small business. You need to do this whole big thing. You need to set up this whole system. Like that can come eventually. But sometimes all you need is like help managing your email, or, automation between a couple different apps, or, Claude, or, AI handling your calendar. It's not always a massive thing. You try to follow the hype crowd, maybe watching YouTube videos. Everyone's talking about like how AI is going to change the world and you're going to get left behind. They're like, you got to set up OpenClaw, you got to do these 5 different things. But sometimes it's just overkill, and it's expensive, and you need to kind of keep up with it. Otherwise it's a lot. So you get overwhelmed, and maybe you go and build something that's completely overkill. You abandon it halfway, and then it needs maintenance when you build it. So yeah. I like the analogy of if you hand a monkey a machine gun. AI can be literally a machine gun, but if you handle it to a monkey, it doesn't always know what to do with it. Now, it's not calling you a monkey, and that's not the analogy. The analogy is like it's a very powerful tool, but sometimes you've got to understand like the basics before jumping to kind of the more advanced stuff. And how can you start like doing it step by step? So first off, you're better off writing down like the biggest point of frustration, the thing that takes the most time, we'll call it the bottleneck, and then starting simple and chipping away at it one little bit at a time. If you start building a big solution, there's a big chance that you don't finish it, or it's overkill, it doesn't get adopted. So the key right now is to learn some small steps that can help you, not like in weeks time, but things that you can like start chipping away at and start automating that you're actually going to use every day, and then build on top of it and improve it, and then go a little bit deeper. So this is like just starting. I've been using AI heavily for years. I was working with developers in blockchain. I made every single mistake you can make back then running the team, but then also my own building, like building tools that were way too complex that didn't need to exist. It's like, okay, because I can do it, I'll build it. But that's not what I needed. I needed things where I could manage my website better or manage my newsletters. I needed simple automations, not really complex, massive solutions where I was scraping millions of accounts on Instagram and never ended up using it, This is going to be like some of the areas I found it the most useful. So how to improve output and not completely automating your life with it, but little things that start to make your life easier, and then you can stack them on top of each other. So what we're going to do here, there's going to be a couple of videos, just going to distill it, and I'm just going to cover what we're going to cover. We're going to create like a fake business. We're going to create a website. We're going to manage the website. We're going to create a mailing list. We're going to do some stuff on SEO, and then we'll show you how to like basically use AI or integrate these things step by step. And we'll start to kind of go a little bit deeper as we go. But we'll start with some of the really basic things that don't seem necessarily super complex, but many people don't even know you can do these things. So we'll just kind of like chip away at it. So what we're going to go through basic setup, Claude, AI. We're not going to cover everything. It's going to be very basic. There's going to be some things, there's going to be better ways of doing it. Some things there might be better tools, there might be more advanced setups. That's not the goal. The goal is just starting. We're going to cover newsletter and email management, analytics and management setup, so how you can run your analytics, hosting and control your website, Google search optimization. That's going to be a big one. We're going to delve into SEO beyond just using AI, but like how we can actually use AI to help with search. And this is great, especially if you're a small local business and you want to sort of chip away at some of the Google search stuff. We'll cover it. Basic calendar and meeting booking, so having it run your calendar and the meetings. And we're going to go deeper with like email inboxes, basic automations, bottlenecks. We'll go further into SEO. And then we're going to cover AI for growth hacking a little bit. I'm not going to cover this too much, but there's been some areas in which we can use AI to kind of accelerate things. I don't mean necessarily just spamming people with random AI messages. I mean how you can like use it for research and accelerate, like maybe it's pulling things from Instagram using scrapers. So we'll go a little bit like deeper that way, but we're not going to go too technical. There's going to be a lot of stuff we can go deeper on if we needed to. And lastly, I'm going to go deeper into the brand brain. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but this is sort of like how you get like consistency in like design. So like, for example, all of this is using the brand brain for Orbit, where the designs are fairly consistent across every material that's created and the tone stays the same. So how can you start to scale things a bit more so that it's more consistent, and how you can set it up that way? I'm going to have some tools and some templates that I've built for myself that can help you in your business. So like how you can kind of get all this sort of stuff. So the websites look better, so the text is kind of more consistent. So yeah, stay tuned for more videos as they drop. I'm going to put them on YouTube and video and Facebook. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. And then just send me a message if you want me to put you on the mailing list. We'll have some kind of better capture mechanism, but then you can be like alerted when I drop the videos. And I can just send those out and you can sort of go through, and yeah, feel free to send me a message, got any questions or anything. But yeah, this is sort of going to be a bit of a fun thing I'm putting together at the moment, trying to distill all my knowledge into some easy videos, and we'll post them on Facebook and YouTube and go from there.